What's going on, guys? We are back. I know it's been a minute. I have been putting off a lot of content, and then we got sick recently. And like I've been saying, I do this at my own pace. I do this on my own time. I do a bunch of other things: work, family, friends, and just a bunch of stuff. But there have been a lot of cards for Chaos Origin that have been releasing lately. That are going to be coming out, and I gotta say, if this set is definitely going to be one that stores are going to have a hard time keeping on the shelf, just due to the fact of how many good cards we're getting. The over arts, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting like the Grandmaster rares and stuff like that, like the serialized cards, which is cool, which is fine. You know, that's whatever, because you can still just buy the OCG product, pull it, and then have it. We just won't have serial cards like that here in the TCG. Maybe we will down the line. Who knows? Who knows their plan? I don't know. But Chaos Origins is definitely a set where I'm going to try to buy a box, 2 boxes, because with the stuff that's coming out in here, whether it be commons, ultra, secrets, you know, whatever rarity, there's a lot of good cards in here for a lot of good archetypes. And I feel like we haven't had a set like this in a while. Like, it's definitely been around a year, if not a year. Can't remember the last set where it was just like a good set, had a lot of things just for a lot of people, good support. But without further ado, I want to get into it. This is just going to be me going through, reading off all the cards, kind of rating them, so to speak. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but in case you guys don't see the cards that are going to be coming out and release, I just want to do this video, put that information out there, and see. I will have another video coming out this weekend about the ban list and my predictions and what I think should and shouldn't be on there. Because I've already seen a couple videos. I try not to watch other players' content or other YouTubers' content on YuGiOh to kind of keep my own opinion and not be influenced by others or have other ideas, just like my raw opinion out there. But I have seen a few because I didn't know when I was going to do mine. And it seems like people are kind of very much one way or the other. There's not like a clear path. So I'll give you my own opinion, but without further ado, let's go down the list. So there's a bunch. I'm only going to go over the ones that are like kind of worth it, because there's like the summer field spell, which is, it's like weird. It's cool, but it's like weird. Like no one's actually going to play it unless you're playing some rando like strategy where you're making it your prime goal to use those counters and go through the different field spells and do all that. So I'm not going to do all that, but the ones that are interesting are, first off, lane restriction, which is important because the monster zones in the next, or in Blazing Dominion and going forward, you're going to want to look at your monster zones because they do matter, because elf notes will be definitely a top contender, which we are playing. But lane restriction, a continuous trap. When this card resolves, you can special summon one of your banished monsters to your rightmost main monster zone. Now, it just says one of your banished monsters. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I wonder if well, I guess it has to know if it's a banished monster. So I was thinking maybe you could do like the face down, but I guess it's like no one's knowledge of which one's face down. I don't know. If you're a judge or you know what the rule is on that, put it in the comments below, because I'm very curious if you can just like put stuff face down and still just summon it. I guess not, maybe, because you'd have to choose it. I don't know. Let me know. And then the second effect is if your opponent normal or special summons a monsters to their main monster zone, which they will be, they must use the leftmost occupied zones. So the way this reads is a bit weird, because in Elf Note strategy, and we know this because we've been playing it a lot, and we're going to take it to locals and the Rarity 5 tournament that we're going to be going to next week, which we will get footage of, see how we do. But the whole thing with Elf Notes is they use this center main monster zone, mouthful, but they use that, and that uses a lot of their effects because they have to swap monsters with it, and it has to specifically go to the main monster zone or summon to the main monster zone with the trap, I think, or there's a lot of stuff that goes with the new support coming out in Blazing Dominion, because this is Chaos Origins. This is like down the road still. But looking into the future, this is going to be definitely an interesting card. It'll probably be a common or a super, but definitely worth like keeping on the radar, maybe play testing and stuff. Not going to go over the monster. Going to go over some of these traps because they're really interesting. Oh My Trap Hole, another trap hole card for all the Trap Tricks players. normal trap, or for the labyrinth players, when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's field during the turn, they special summon a monsters, destroy the monster that activated the effect, then destroy all opponent's cards in the adjacent monster zones and spell and trap zones, if any. That's a crazy card. Like, what I'm really like, Yu-Gi-Oh is really going to change, and Yu-Gi-Oh has been going on a good path lately. I know that some people still think it's like really toxic or this or that. The game is only going to get better, and I think by the end of this year, Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be aging like a fine wine. We now have the Rarity Collection that's releasing the overart cards. There's value coming back. There's collectors coming back. We now see that in Rarity 5, they're not scared to just do a Rarity 5, a Rarity 6, a Rarity 7. Like, they're going to be able to make the game cheaper. Obviously, they're not going to be reprinting cards that are like really, really recent, because we didn't see any of like the Yummy cards or this or that. Like, they get their own marketing strategy and how they want to use and abuse their money. Because at the end of the day, they're a company. They got employees. They got bills to pay, and they're going to make their money. But yeah, it's just at the end of the year, this is going to be a really great game. I think 2 or 3 more ban lists. We'll see a lot more toxic cards gone. We know Droll's getting hit. Impulse and Ash have been hit in the OCG. So, we're going to get to a point where most of the interaction isn't like generic hand traps or just generic floodgates. It's like in archetype floodgates, in archetype negates, and like you have to work for it. And there's not really a way to stop your opponent, but there's also like cards like Illusion Gate that are coming out that are making going second a bit more interesting, a bit more easier, a bit more exciting and fun. So it's just a little spiel there. So yeah, Oh My Trap Hole, I think is a really good card. This one was kind of interesting. Protective Stone Gardenscaping, another continuous. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is while you have 5 cards in your spell and trap zone, any battle damage either player takes is halved. Also, once per turn, you activate 1 continuous trap the turn it was set. Don't know what strategy would use this, because you would have to have all occupied. You could do a number of strategies, I guess. My first thing is like the Centurion strategy. If you got like a trap strategy like Labyrinth, sure. And the second effect, which you can only use once per turn, is during the standby phase, you can reveal 5 continuous traps with different names in your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to set. Also, shuffle the rest back into the deck. So it is a way to get floodgates out, right? So we could probably see anti-spell and a bunch of other like continuous traps like Rivalry, a bunch of other ones that are probably gonna get killed on the next ban list or 2, because by the time we get Chaos Origins, because we're probably getting one very soon, because I'm filming this on the 9th, we'll probably get one sometime in the middle of this month, if not after Rarity releases, like the last week of April, maybe. Because everybody else, the OCG, Master Duel, everybody, Rush Duel, I think. Everyone else is getting a ban list but TCG. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, this is a way to get floodgates out. But I don't know. And then we got the Ilios, the Black Sun Dragon. Now this one's interesting. It's a level 4 dark dragon monster, and you can only use the first and second effect of this name once per turn. First effect is you can reveal 3 dragon monsters in your extra deck with 3,000 or more attack and different names. Special summon this card from your hand. Okay, reveal, free body, a way to extend, if you will. And the second effect is if this card is sent to your graveyard, you can target 1 Dragon Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link you control. Your opponent cannot target it with effects this turn. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. This is another thing that I think Konami is doing really well, because as you'll see down the list, Elf Notes are getting a card that's very similar where you can't respond to this effect. That is an effect I'm okay with, because you have to let them get to that point. But there's also graveyard interactions. Like, this is something that happens in the graveyard. So things like Called By, or any other Gravekeeper's Inscription. There's a lot of cards that work with the graveyard, so to speak. And I think this card is a fun extender for dragons, whether it be Dragon Link or Bestial Package or what, like the Bestial Fallen of Albaz, all that stuff, where it's just like dragons and spellcasters and all that stuff. So I think it's cool. It's interesting. I think that's a good way for some decks to extend. And extenders are always really fun and good. Now we're getting to the Elf Note stuff. If you guys don't know already, you guys should be picking up Elf Notes. We can see that after Blazing Dominion, synchro decks really take on a new level because we get that dragon. I'll leave it here because I don't know the name of it, but that dragon that you can just reveal, and then based off how many synchro cards you reveal, you have certain effects. It's a great card. It's a great card. But we're also getting some crazy support for Kill Tune. And the Elf Notes we're going to see now. You probably should already know the Elf Note support in Blazing Dominion. And when that comes out and I pick up the cards, I'll go over them and show you guys. And that's probably a deck I'm going to enjoy playing. Like, it's a really fun deck. It does a lot of stuff. There's different engines you can play with it. But going forward, after Chaos Origins, we're going to see right now that there's just a ton of great support. So the first is we're getting a level 10, another level 10 light spellcaster synchro monster, which takes one tuner and one spellcaster non-tuner. So still generic enough, but all the Elf Notes are spellcasters. And I know we're getting like some other monsters, but we're getting a level 10 synchro again. And you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. First one is neither player can declare attacks with monsters not in the center main monster zone, while this card is in the center main monster zone. Okay. Second effect, during the main phase, if this card is in the center main monster zone, as a quick effect, you can return it to the extra deck. And if you do, special summon one Elf Note monster each from your deck, hand, and or graveyard. So that's crazy. It's like Yummy. You shuffle it back and then you special summon. And then off of those monsters that you special summon, they have their own effects. The main deck monsters have their own effects of, you know, flipping to the main monster zone and then doing something, you know, negating or bouncing back or banishing a card randomly from the hand. They do a bunch of they do a bunch of stuff, which is very interesting. But this is 3,100 attack, 1,800 defense. Really great card. Super excited. But what was interesting is that we're also getting a Link monster. So in Blazing Dominion, we are getting more cards for Elf Note, and some of them are pendulums. Now, I don't know complete strategy of what's going to be like, what's the combos and everything. I don't think they actually pendulum. They might. But we're getting a Link, and it's all the Power Patron stuff. The Power Patron stuff is the whole lore with Medius or Medius, whatever, this guy. And it's all just based around him and I guess like his whole universe and lore and that he's going through. But Power Patron, Envy of Pure Prayers. It's a Dark Fairy Link, Link 2, 300 attack, top and bottom arrows, and you can only use each effect once per turn. If this card is Link summoned and you have a Power Patron monster in your graveyard, super generic, and you will, you can add one Theorealize from your deck to your hand, which is crazy because that is like a great starter. And the card is, I'll post it here. Card is a great starter, great extender. It lets you just, I'm not going to reveal too much because I want to do a video on the Elf Note deck and what it all does. But yeah, this is like insane. It's great. But second effect, during the main phase, if you control another Dark Fairy monster, you can quick effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon using materials you control, including this card. Now, there's no restriction. It's just if you control another Dark Fairy monster, you can Link summon and use this card. Fucking crazy. There's no restrictions where it has to be a Dark Fairy monster or Dark monster or whatever. Just Link summon. Cool. I'm all for it. I love it because especially if this is a deck I'm going to be playing a lot of for fun and probably take it to like tournaments and stuff. I'm all for it. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So this is Dead End Power Patron Realm. Veria. Yes. It's a quick play, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. First one is show one Navera Power Patron of Creation, one Jupiter. So reveal from your extra deck, face up on the field and or graveyard, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects into the response of activation of your Power Patron monster's effects. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, is that these cards are crazy because it's now like you can't respond. Like, it's not impossible to play against, but it gives me a little edge over not only am I doing stuff, but you can't just like respond. Like if I do all this setup or I struggle to play through your hand traps and set something up and you're like, well, I'm just going to chain link 3 something. It's like, okay, well now it ends when I activate my stuff. So great. Power Patron Shadows of End Times. You can only activate 1 card with its name per turn. Social summon 1 Power Patron monster from your hand, face up, extra deck, or graveyard. Then you can play these effects in sequence based on the number of monster card types, fusion, Xyz, synchro you control. So if you control 1, banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck face down. Crazy. Banish 1 card from your... So 2, banish 1 card from your opponent. Banish 1 card your opponent controls face down. Crazy. Or 3, banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand face down. Now, if you do control a fusion, synchro, and Xyz, which it looks like you could, you get all 3 effects, which is crazy. Crazy, because you do it in sequence. Crazy. And then we got Elf Notes, Quatrain of Succession, a continuous trap which can be set face up on our turn when we're comboing, so it can already be active. You only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, the monster in your sender main monster zone cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. Okay, cool. Yeah, a little extra protection. All right. You can send 1 other spell trap from your hand or field to the graveyard and declare a level from 1 to 4. Special summon 1 token, Plant Tuner, fire, 0 attack, 0 defense, and with that level, and then you cannot special summon from the extra deck while that token is on the field except Elf Note monsters. So good restriction. It's not just like a bullshit like token. It's all within archetype, but it's cool because we can declare a level from 1 to 4. How broken this will be, I don't know, but the Elf Note strategy is definitely going to have a huge band of synchro monsters that we can synchro into. So you can go into Black Rose Dragon, you can go into Omega and banish opponent's card out of their hand. There's a ton of options. This, I'm telling you, I think I said this in a video already, but this is the year of the synchros. So if you're not already playing a strategy, or you're not trying to find cards that mess with synchro monsters, or you're trying to, this is going to be a lot of synchros going forward. And just be prepared, I guess. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry. So we actually started raiding for World of Warcraft tonight. I was doing the video, but also we lost internet. So I guess we're just going to record video. So going through the stuff, because y'all will just see this in real time, but I got to catch up like mentally. But with the Elf Note support, this is also in Chaos Origins. And we're also getting another Theorealize quick play spell, which is honestly really good because playing the deck now, I can already see its like weaknesses or like things that they can release to make it even better, more consistent, more secure, if you will. But so this is Pastoral Theorealize. Normal spell. You can only use one of the first and second effects. So you can only use first or second effect each once per turn. Or not each. You can only use one or the other per turn. So if you control an Archmage, Doomsday, or Elf Note card. So if you control the, continuous spell or trap or whatever, special summon 1 Midius the Pure from your hand or deck. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when it is summoned. So if it has any effect like the Midius the Pure on summon to special summon or add, they cannot respond to it, which is always like a weak point in the deck, because if they like stop you there, it's kind of like, oh, what do I do? But now that we got that, so that's cool. Or you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one fusion, synchro, or Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your zone a link monster points to. So good follow-up if your opponent breaks the board or whatever, or you're trying to... There's a ton of stuff you can do, and I guarantee you the combos are like endless for what this deck can do now. But so that's that. So I said this was going to be a bit of a longer episode because there's just so much stuff that's being released. I don't think this is coming out in Chaos, but there's also new monsters that are being hinted at and revealed for Aleister. So I'm just going to go over them and just kind of see what y'all think now that this support's coming out. We're getting a new Aleister monster, getting new fusions. So we'll go over that too. I don't think it's coming out in Chaos. It might be. I don't know. I'll confirm it. But we're getting Aleister the Reminiscent, level 4 Dark Spellcaster, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. You only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target one spellcaster or fusion monster on the field, special summon this card, and if you do, that monster gains 1000 attack until the end of the turn. Okay, good closer. If this card is normal, special summon, or flip face up, you can banish one invoke monster from your extra deck, add one invocation or spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Okay, just a great extension, great starter, another starter, cool. And now we're also getting some fusions. So Invoked Sorath is a level 6 light pyro fusion monster, 1600 attack, 2600 defense. Not a real big beefy boy. Materials are one Aleister monster plus one fire or wind monster. Pretty generic. Not really, but you know, Aleister I feel like is a good splash package as well. You can use a first and second effect each once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target one level 6 or lower monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field in defense position, but its effects are negated. If this card is in your graveyard, you can fusion summon one invoke monster from your extra deck by banishing its materials from your hand and or graveyard, including this card in the graveyard. That's honestly really good. I haven't played like the invoked like whole archetype and doing the whole everything. I know some of the cards are broken. It's got its own floodgates, so you know I'm glad they're supporting like older archetypes and giving more flavor out there. And I think Konami making better decks going forward, like when we got Aleister and Rizal, I think that was like a good starting point of what good decks should look like. Detonator wasn't something oppressive. It was something that could easily be dealt with, but you know, it's also like no negation. It's just popping and it's targeting popping. Malice having the non-target banish was kind of crazy, but I mean, the deck didn't do anything like negating or it didn't do anything crazy, but it was a good deck. It was consistent. I got a lot of support. So I'm glad they're seeing this approach to decks going forward of new, but also to giving back to the old of, you know, Dark Magician support, Aleister support. Obviously they're going to do their flavors of like Dark Magician and Blue Eyes and stuff, but decks that people love, that, you know, Hero getting their stuff and their new mass change. I'm glad that they're just, it feels like they're putting way more love into the game now, and I can appreciate that a lot. All right, so piggybacking on that, we're getting Awis, the Spirit of the Law, which is a level 8 Wind Fiend monster with 2000 attack, 2800 defense. In once per turn, each effect. You can banish this card from your hand or field, add one Aleister monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if this effect was activated on the field immediately after it resolves, you can normal summon one spellcaster monster. Good extension. Starter. Sounds like cool. If a face-up fusion monsters you control is sent to the graveyard except by battle while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Then you can fusion summon one invoke monster using monsters from your hand or field as material. It sounds like a good one of, maybe two of, not sure. And then we got Aeon, Invoke Transcendence Aeon, level 10 Dark Fiend Fusion, 3800 attack, 3200. So this is like, you know, big dick energy monster. Materials is 2+ fusion monsters with different attributes. If this card is fusion summon, you can banish cards from the field and or graveyards up to the number of materials used. Then if you use 3 or more, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 cards from it. What? That? Okay. The fact that this just says 2+ fusion monsters with different attributes. This is kind of a crazy super poly target. Kind of worrying. And then as a quick effect, you can declare one attribute. All other face-up monsters currently on the field become that attribute until the end of this turn. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of like really stupid. The fact that it's generic like that, I don't know if the translation is gonna change or that's like actually what it is. But if it's generic like that and you can just use it as super poly target, that might be a problem. Especially with the heavy synchro like decks going forward, you can just rip out. Like you get to choose, you get to look at your opponent's extra deck and banish up to 3 cards from it. That's scary. We got Invocation Sword, quick play spell. Fusion summon 1 monster from your extra deck using monsters you control. Okay, quick fusion. If summoning an invoked monster, you can also banish monsters by returning them to the graveyard. You can also use banished monsters by returning them to the graveyard. So not only you're not shuffling them back, but they're staying in the graveyard as material. Okay, I think I might have to pick up some Aleister stuff because this seems like it's going places. Normal spell, Sword Spirit Awis. Special summon 1 Awis Spirit of the Law from your deck or graveyard. Okay. Send to the graveyard or banish 1 Aleister monster from your deck. Look at 3 random face down cards in your opponent's extra deck and banish 1 of them. All right. I think we can kind of see a theme here. It's definitely cool. It's definitely cool. Is it kind of crazy? Absolutely. But yeah, okay. We're getting some more fusions. Level 9 Earth, Sea Serpent Fusion, Invoked Okeanos. Okeanos. Sure. 3,000. Materials that need to be 1 Aleister monster and then 1 dark or water monster. You can only use the 3rd effect of this name once per turn. Your opponent monsters cannot target monsters for attacks while this card is in the main monster zone, except this one. Any monster sent to the opponent's graveyard is banished instead while this card is in the extra monster zone. All right, so we're continuing the floodgate effect with the Aleisters. Okay, cool. But again, this is like okay because this is in an archetype. So you have to choose to play this deck. You have to choose to play these cards in your deck. It's not like a flip up, you know, continuous trap and guess you don't get to play the game. Whoopsie. It's like you have to play this deck. You have to play these cards. You have to play this archetype to get these effects, which is cool. I like that. That I'm okay with. But when it's just generic or a thrust target, nah. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 fusion monster you control. It can attack directly this turn. Okay, we can see where they're kind of going here with all this. And I guess some more cards that also got revealed. We got magical name Rosa Mundi, which is a normal trap. I don't know if this is coming out of Chaos Origins. Let me verify. Okay, so I believe this is at Chaos Origins. So Rosie Mundi. Each effect once per turn. Banish 1 Aleister monster or 1 fusion monster from your graveyard. Special summon 1 evoked monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, but banish it during the end phase. If a monsters becomes banished face up all those cards in your graveyard, you can banish this card and target 1 banished evoke monster, special summon it. Okay. Invoked Babylon, level 7 Fire Illusion, 2450, 1 Aleister monster, 1 Light Earth monster. Each effect once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can add 1 Vikram, the artificial spirit, or a magical name Rosie Mundi from your deck to your hand, then banish 1 monster from either graveyard, non-targeting. You banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 fusion monster you control. All face-up monsters your opponent controls lose attack equal to that monster's until the end of this turn. So we can see that there's a lot of recurability here. We can see what they're going for. It's Aleister's archetype, you know, just adding to flavor of what it's already doing. Like, I think this is like great support. I'm reading this and I'm reading this as great support. And obviously a dub for all the big fans out there that are Invoked fans. Now we got Vikram, the Artificial Spirit, level 3 Light Illusion monster, 1,000. You can only use the first. Okay, so each once per turn. If you have an Aleister monster in your field or on your field or in your graveyard, probably translation, you can special summon this card from your hand. Great extender. If this card is special summon, you can set one invocation or one spell that mentions it from your deck. So, you know, the invocation spell, the field spell, whatever. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to activation of your fusion monster's effect, you can banish this card. And if you do, negate that opponent's effects. And if you do, banish that card. Whoa. This is like a do-all, be-all. If this card is special summon, it has to be specifically special summon the set. But that's like a great, like a one of in the deck. Because you could search it, you can use it for its banish effect. Like that's like it's protection. That's crazy. Oh, and Artemis, the Majestic Moon Maiden. We don't have anything on this yet, I guess. Witchcrafter, Celebration, quick play spell. You can only use this card's name once per. Or use this. Yeah. You can destroy one Witchcrafter monster you control and a card your opponent controls. Cool. It's a quick play. Non-targeting, by the way. You can fusion summon one Witchcrafter fusion monster by shuffling back Spellcrafter monsters from your graveyard and banishment back into your deck. During your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard while you control a Witchcrafter monster, you can add this card back to your hand. Okay, Witchcrafter. Witchcrafter Madame Riliona. Level 8 Light Spellcaster, 3,800, 2,800. Materials, Witchcrafter Maiden Vare, plus 2 spellcasters. You only use it once per turn. If this card is fusion summon, you can special summon up to 3 level 7 or lower Witchcrafter monsters with different attributes from your hand or deck. Also, you can add special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except fusion monsters. Sounds like a W for sure. During your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can reveal one spell in your hand, special summon this card in defense position. Cracked. Witchcrafter Terracotan, Cotan. Earth level 2 spellcaster, 0-2K. If this card is in your hand, you can target one Witchcrafter card in your graveyard except itself. Add it to your hand if you do special summon this card, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Witchcrafter monsters. Okay, a good lock. You know, if you're playing that in archetype stuff, it shouldn't matter. And it stops us from seeing things like Yummy just spiral off into any link 1 and link, or level 1 and link 1 makes Cupsy, and then you're playing against a whole other deck. So little locks like that kind of future-proofing the game a bit. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one Witchcrafter monster using materials from your hand or field as material. Okay, also a fusion. Field spell for the Witchcrafters now. During your main phase, you can add one Witchcrafter monster from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. Extension, Searcher, cool. Starter, awesome. During your turn, if you would discard a card to activate the effect of a Witchcrafter monster, you can instead send a Witchcrafter spell trap from your deck to the graveyard except itself. Awesome. Witchcrafter Distortion. You can only use each of the effects once per turn. When your opponent activates a spell/trap card or monster effect, and you control a level 5 or higher Witchcrafter monster, which you more than likely will, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. Negating the activation. Okay. Except this turn, this card was sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from the graveyard. Add one level 5 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. Okay. W for Witchcrafters as well. You guys are getting an extension. You guys are getting a counter trap, a field spell, searchers. I mean, you guys are getting really good stuff. I mean, if this is all, and I believe this is all coming out in Chaos Origins, guys, get a box, pre-order a case. Holy fuck. there is something in this for literally everybody. There is for the collectors, there's for, you know, the new archetypes, there's for the meta, there's for the, you know, old timers playing the Invoke stuff, which again, I believe this is going to be from Chaos Origins. I'm like 92.5% sure. But like I was saying in the start of this video, this is really good for YuGiOh because Konami's really putting a lot of love back into the game, whether it be for collecting, for, you know, card grading, for tournament prizing. It's really becoming a lot of love, and I can appreciate that. Well, I don't know what changed it. If they saw a bunch of people leaving to One Piece from, you know, years ago, I think like 2 years ago, that whole mass purge started happening, or what. But I really like the direction they're going, and I'm happy to, you know, be a part of it. Let me know if this is something you guys enjoy. I know it's been a minute. You could probably tell from my voice that I'm still recovering. But I like doing this. I like going through new things that are being released to show you guys like what's on the horizon, what's coming up. I'm not well endowed enough into YuGiOh to know like these are crazy cards, this is a really bad card, but I mean, on the surface, these all look like good cards, right? I don't think there's really just like a dog shit card. Most of these cards sound like starters, extenders, trying to help archetypes, you know, new boss monsters. Maybe some of the spells and traps won't be really played as much, just because their effects are too niche or too slow, or, you know, there's other, like with the elf notes, there's like so many continuous traps and spells now. It's like, you know, which ones are better or worth you running in the deck and potentially bricking on. But yeah, guys, like I said, I hopefully this weekend will do my opinion on the ban list, and I got some thoughts to say about that. But let me know what you guys thought about this video. I know it's kind of a bit of a longer one, just because there was so much to go through, but I really want to show you guys what's on the horizon so you guys know. And what I can only speak on is if you're planning to be a meta player or you want to play something interesting and fun, pick up the elf notes now. I know they've like skyrocketed already, but if you can like get some cheap, trade, maybe somebody on eBay, whatever, get that stuff because it is going to be great. It's going to be amazing, and it's only going to go up. So that's all I got, guys. It's good seeing y'all again. I hope y'all are doing great, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.